Yeah. That nigga be crystal, babe. Yeah. Hey. I'm shameless, so shameless. When my dogs on the block, it was dangerous. Take your girl out to eat and she's paying. I'm shameless, so shameless. I'ma go hit Tahoe up. Come bring the Tahoe truck, body bags on body bags. Come pick this garbage up. DJ mixing in the booth, he leave him traumatized up. I ain't got no time to waste. Let's get these commas up. I'm sitting in class, I can't even focus. Looking at the teacher, hoping that she don't notice. Titty sit right, that ass be poking. I'm sitting in the front, cause I gotta be the closest. I'm just waiting for the bell, let everybody leave. I passed with an A, but left her with a D. I'm shameless, so shameless.
The reason I am keep going to Kizzle, there's a word that I wanted to use, to Kizzle, deflecting or whatever, the Kizzle, is because he has a brand that is pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Where he speaks basically on therapy for men. And it's called Express Yourself Black Man, I believe, right?
Yep.
I don't know who the fuck designed his damn clips.
Me.
But them shits are very, not only comforting, but you feel like, when I watch your clips, it's alluring. And you're a man, right? So most times when you say alluring, it's for an aroma or a woman or something like that. But you watch and it's like, yo, it feels like somebody's talking to you. Like,
because I care, bro.
Very, very close to the screen. I don't know how you did that, but I'd like to see one of your clips. I'd like to hear an example of your work so that our people, and we'll try to, you know what?
Put it up on the mic?
Send it to her.
Okay.
Airdrop it.
Send it to the.
Oh, can you
Turn your
airdrop
airdrop on, though.
to the computer? He's not on the
The Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi. Do you
He
have
doesn't
to
have to be.
All right.
I got you. Let me go to it.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
I think you should be able to.
No, but it's on his Instagram. You can't airdrop to.
I think you can.
Oh.
If you click the share, let me see. Let's see how we gonna do this. Yeah.
Technology be technology.
No people. There we go.
Tahoe's MacBook.
Yep.
This one's a little.
You sound like
spicy.
it.
Nope, I think it's that MacBook. I heard it.
I see MVP.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Listen, both of y'all getting airdrop. There gotta be one of these MacBooks in here.
Oh.
Somebody get this man a wet wipe.
Oh my god.
Yo, what's wrong with you?
Did this nigga just juggle his shit?
I don't know. Y'all dicks be doing weird shit, so I guess.
This nigga jiggled his junk. This white woman called moon shit junk on Hard to Soft. That was
Y'all are
hilarious.
disgusting. Jiggle your junk.
It's
It's jiggling, baby.
It's a whole clip. We have another podcast that's sex related.
I was about to ask you, is that mainly about sex?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
It's,
of it.
well, it's sex, relationships.
Okay.
You know.
The Nut
It's
Navy.
pretty. It's pretty.
I ain't gonna lie, the clip today was a little.
That was intense.
I was like, I commented, I'm uncomfortable.
Is it because she was white?
No, yeah, that was me. Yeah, it's not because she was white. Even though that was a little, it's just because she was like, put your hand out, take my feet.
Well, they're doms.
Oh, that's what that was.
It's supposed to be that way.
Fuck, I can't do that. Nah,
It's supposed to be that. Why?
it's
It's an attack on your masculinity.
That's part of it too. And you know what's interesting? I'm glad that you brought that up because I feel like there's some parts of us that's like, yo, bro, maybe you don't need to work on that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to work on that. I don't want to have to, like, feel like I need to work on a part of me that's like, I feel comfortable with. You get what I'm saying? And I think we all have to, no?
Because that would mean that every other nigga, if they were able to adopt that same thought process, like, yo, I like calling bitches. Yeah.
If
like,
that's the
I
case,
like beating my bitch when she's wrong. She,
okay,
yo, I seen that ice bro turning shit.
Nah.
Yo, I like, yeah.
That's weird.
This is what I do. It's
But
what I
here's
do.
the thing. Here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying though. For me personally, there's certain things that I'm like, I don't really think that that's a problem to society or anybody else. I'm not hurting anybody by saying I don't want to be with a dom. You get what I'm saying?
I agree with you.
So
in that, but then
For that in that specific context, I'm not saying that for everything.
But you also got to think about where that's coming from. Any of our behavior is coming from something.
Oh, I know it's
inside
coming
of
from
us.
somewhere. Yeah.
And so now, how does that, where it's coming from, exhibit itself In other places,
other ways?
in our personality.
I'll work on it in other places, but
you don't have to get spanked, my nigga. You good?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But in terms of sex and all that, like, nah, I don't know about that. He was. You seen the clip from today?
He was rubbing feet.
It wasn't. Nah, that's not all it was.
You don't like rubbing feet?
It's not about rubbing. It's not about rubbing feet. That's not all it was.
It was the tone.
It was the tone.
Y'all and y'all tone.
And she was like, at the end of it, she was like, she was talking about
pegging.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. All right, come on now. Come on now.
Okay, so then, like I said, therein lies something that's connected to something else that you don't even realize it. It's not. I don't even get into it right now.
Nah, it's cool.
Because our next clip has something about meat in it. I don't want to. You should forget it.
This nigga, son. This nigga here is
But,
so fucking
Melly,
wild, son.
Can we
That's
pull
what
this
I'm
clip
talking
up?
about.
Yo,
That's
just
what
chill.
I'm
Everybody,
talking about,
relax.
Everybody relax.
Just say that. You'll understand.
Everybody just relax.
You'll understand when the clip comes up.
Hard and Soft is an amazing space.
Is it?
Yeah. You
know.
should go.
Let's see here.
Go on a podcast?
Yeah, on Hard and Soft.
You gotta hit the volume on the clip.
Is it a
Start it over?
It's a very safe space. It's too safe. These niggas be wilding.
A lot of times we try to make it seem like being faithful is just like this accolade that only certain men hit. You know what I'm saying? And like they just are blessed with faithfulness and loyalty, and they just had these things ingrained in them. It's a choice. It really is a choice. And you have to choose it actively. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I was like, yo, we were talking about just like infidelity, cheating. And I was like, bro, whenever you are at odds with your partner, things will be presented to you.
Like what?
Just options. And that's when you got to really be 10 toes down about who you're with and understand. So that's what I'm saying to you is for me is like understanding who I'm with and where I want to go and knowing that God placed her in my life to get us to where we need to get to, and that me being unfaithful, dabbling in all these other different things is not going to help push me further into my purpose. So it's understanding who I'm with, but also understanding my purpose and what it is that I've been put on earth to do. And connecting those two things makes me understand like, yo, it don't make sense to me for me to be out here choosing to be unfaithful. Because like we said, it's a choice. You either choose to be faithful or you don't. I think a lot of times we try to make it seem like
there's a lot of choices that go with that though.
It is.
There are.
I do not have those choices.
Go ahead, bro.
I was in a relationship for like 13 months and I was with somebody, but it was a relationship where it was like no sex before marriage. It's not something I ever did before. It was just like, it was a choice.
Why would you do something like that? Right.
The thoughts. Why we have the same brain? Because I was just like,
So it was a choice for me because one, also I wanted to practice a lot of discipline as a man, and also if I know that this is the person that I want to be with, then it shouldn't be. It's difficult, but also like I can choose.
How do you know if you don't know what the pussy taste feels like?
oh my god.
There's other ways to practice
How do
discipline.
we know?
I don't necessarily need to have sex
I don't
with somebody.
like y'all.
We're on the wrong part. Continue what you were saying. Stop answering, Tahoe.
Basically, it was just like it was a choice. I could, and everything wasn't perfect. Things went wrong. I could have cheated. I could have done a lot of things, especially when things were going bad, and people would be like, you want to see my titties, or you want to sleep with me, or whatever. But it's a certain level of discipline that you have to make that choice.
Yeah.
Because everybody isn't like able to do that.
Right.
If they're not getting sex in a relationship for that
let me add to that clip because Instagram you can only put so much on there, right? So like there's a lot of extra stuff that I wanted to say that you can't add to Instagram, but what I wanted to add is that I don't knock men that cheat, right? Like if you cheat, I don't knock people that cheat because men are not the only people that cheat, right? Women cheat, everybody cheats, right? But my problem with what I'm seeing on social media a lot of the times is that we are trying to make it culture for men to be cheating, right? And for me personally, I don't like that because it's like we're trying to pass it off as you can't have discipline as a man. Like you just have to give in to your animalistic instincts, and this is how we're born, and these are the things that's different between man and woman. And for me personally, I'm just like, yo, bro, every human being on earth can practice discipline, bro. It's whether you choose to do it or not. Let's not make it seem like cheating is not a choice, because it is. There are a lot of different choices that go into that, right? But at the end of the day, it is a choice. You do actively choose it, whether you want to believe it or not, right? Because for me personally, like, I know a lot of times when we get into the conversation about cheating, people are like, well, I cheated because this is why I wasn't getting in a relationship. I've seen clips where, like, we have, like, men, pastors, whoever the case may be, trying to justify, well, this is what happens when a man is cheating. He steps out because this is not happening in his relationship, and the person that he's with is offering him this and that kind of stuff. And it's like, bro, like, you're a grown-ass man. Have a conversation. Right,
See,
and if
that's the
that
thing.
and if that's not doing it in the relationship for you, then maybe you shouldn't be in a relationship.
My thing is this. For one, I'm trying to understand when you say we're trying to say that society is pushing cheating. Are you talking about polyamory, or are you actually
No.
talking about cheating?
I'm talking about cheating. I'm not talking
Now,
about polyamory.
I understand what
Cheating
he's
for
saying
me-
by that.
Cheating for me is more about men actually voicing how they feel, being able to really identify to themselves how they feel, where it's coming from, and then articulating it. See, I can't even say the fucking word to their partner in that
Explain
way
that,
that
though.
is in a way that is positive. Because if you're in a relationship, there is a reason why you want to step out. It can be because you just don't want to be with that person in a monogamous relationship. It can be that. Most men is not going to say that.
Okay.
Unless that's your lifestyle. Unless you've made that decision already, right?
Okay.
Or, huh?
Like, you know what? I want this. I want that.
But that's because
And that's
they
fine.
not ready to be in a monogamous relationship. You're saying that some men are just like that. It's honestly, they're not ready to be in a monogamous relationship. They want to be with her. They don't want her dating somebody else, but they still want other things. But you need to be able to communicate that. You need to be able to communicate that.
Right.
And then take what comes with it.
Right.
I think that men we have a lot of different pulls.
What you mean pools?
Our ego,
Okay.
pride, consumption, like the fact that when I need more. I want more women. I want more. It feeds your ego. It feeds your pride.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not even that you want that girl over there. You just want another number.
Right.
Hey,
But that goes back to discipline. though.
love. Okay. What if sex is one of your drives? Why you saying what if I'm just like that? You said it about the last topic. What if sex is one of your drives? Why you have to be disciplined if that's one of your things?
If that's one of your things, then I think that goes back to what you said. That
That's
you
what I'm
got to
saying.
communicate it. Yeah.
We need to be able to identify who we are in an articulate way, and then express that to this person
Right.
in a way that is positive and progressive.
Right.
And once but we don't do that.
No.
We are terrified of doing that because we don't want to lose.
Yeah.
We are scared that she will judge us. We're scared that she will lose. We're scared that she will go fuck somebody else.
Right. But most importantly, we're scared. I think also we're scared of just acknowledging the truth of who we actually are when that conflicts with what we're seeing in society. Because when you grow up and all you're seeing is monogamous relationships, all you're seeing is, I have to be a husband, and this is what husbandry looks like. This is what being a husband looks like. And then you grow up and you're like, damn, but I fake want 3 girlfriends, or I fake want 4 girlfriends, or I want to mess with this girl, that girl. Like, bro, polyamory exists, but I think a lot of times with men, we want to have our cake and eat it too. I don't want my wife having sex with somebody else, but I want to have sex with somebody else. It's like
It all boils down to power, control, and ego, and that's the reason why I'm like, I don't know if it's a discipline thing. I don't know if I fully agree with that.
okay.
It's about fear and control, and I feel like once men, and not just men, as a society, once we eradicate fear and control, we'll find ourselves in a different space.
Fear and control in what context? So
Fear and control in the sense of I'm afraid of explaining to my partner my true wants and desires. I have these wants and desires, but I don't want to lose control of the person that I have.
right.
Because most times when you're talking about a relationship, there has to be some type of equality there. So if you want to be polyamorous, then she should be able to be too.
Right.
If she wants to be polyamorous, you should be able to be too. So that's the control aspect. I truly believe in polyamory.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe in open relationships.
Yep.
But I can't open my relationship because then I would have to communicate that to her. And then I would have to open it up with her too, because that is what's fair. Men are very aware of what is right and wrong. And I feel like sometimes it's all rooted in ego, fear, and control.
It is.
I don't want my friends to know that my girl is fucking other people, but my friends can know that I'm fucking other people. But I also don't want to take onus in my own relationship. So when we talk about society and what society thinks about relationships, and society pushes monogamy, but monogamy has not been the centerfold of relationships in this society. That has not been it. Papa was a Rolling Stone. Everybody got a half sibling. You got aunts that's not really your aunt. That's not your grandmother's child. That's your grandfather's other woman's child, or secrets and all of these other things. When we get to the understanding that when you're in a relationship, nobody has control over your relationship but the two people in it. When we stop letting people in our business and stop allowing outsiders to judge what we consider is the norm in our relationship. And when we come to the realization that monogamy is the real choice, then we won't have this conversation about discipline.
What do you mean by...
What if the reason why he's doing these things is because these actions are actually doing something to make him feel more like a man?
That's emotional intelligence. That's something else.
No, like, when you ain't got money, like, a lot of times the only thing that matters to men is their dick and money. These things matter to men.
Matters
and
to women as well.
so if you ain't got bread, if you don't have businesses, if you ain't have other things, then you'll a lot of times compound that with women.
Overcompensate.
Yeah, overcompensate for what you
women.
lack.
At least
That's-
I can get. At least I'm still desired in this way and that way, right? And so now that's why when you get that person,
That's
it's like,
ego.
ugh, never
That's
really
feel-
want, I
that's-
just need another one because I'm still trying to feed this.
It's ego that's filling your inadequacies. Because while you have all of this time to rip and run the street to fuck with all these women, why are you not trying to figure out how to get money? Because this is where you feel your most power. This is where your ego comes
see, you
from.
don't
I know I could pull bitches, but I don't believe in myself enough that I can make the type of money that I need to make.
That doesn't come from somewhere else not believing in yourself? That shit could come from your crib.
It can
That
come
shit could
from many different
your
places.
community. That shit could come from
This
just
is why
being a
I
black
say
man.
everybody needs to be in therapy, especially black men. I've
But
said it time and time
are
again.
you actually applying that knowledge of that to when you looking at men? Because you might know some shit. You be
Yeah.
like, oh, these niggas is this, these niggas is that. But are you actually saying, oh, that's actually coming because his mother told him he wasn't shit all the time, or he ain't have no dad, or, you know, he ain't never had no clothes when he was growing up. He was always sharing his brother's clothes and this, that, and the other. So now he feels unworthy.
I think that's a explanation, but we shouldn't allow the explanation to be an excuse. And I think I had a conversation with somebody about this a few podcasts ago.
Podcasts ago was crazy.
That's fire.
Nah, seriously though.
We write that down. That's fire. That's fire.
No, but seriously, right? And what we were talking about is just how, like, a lot of times as men, like, so let me give you an example, right? Like, if I go on a page and I say, this is why men behave the way that they behave, right? I'll get a bunch of comments and people be like, thank you so much for speaking for us, and yada, 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 blah, blah, right? And then when I go, this is how men can change this negative habit or whatever the case may be. It may not be the same amount of engagement. It may not be the same amount of comments. Or I may get some comments like, nah, da-da-da, this is the reason why, right? And you see how people, like, respond differently, specifically men respond differently, because a lot of times we like to hide behind the explanation as to why we are the way we are instead of making the change to be better, right? And I think that is my whole thing with the platform, is like trying to create solutions that don't make you feel like shit, but that you can also use, right? And so that's what we talked about earlier as well with my tone and my delivery and stuff, where I'm not trying to bash you, so I'm not raising my tone. I'm going to keep my tone very, very low, very monotone, because I understand that for the men in the community, a lot of us are dealing with fragile egos.
And PTSD too.
Yeah, facts, right? Like, I know I have a fragile ego when it comes to certain things, right? I know there's certain things that trigger me, but I also know that I'm different than the average black man that's in my audience. And sometimes the people in my audience don't even know what triggered them until it's presented to them, right? So for me, it's like, yo, just understanding that we can't allow it to always be an excuse, it's okay for us to understand what's causing this, but at some point in time, we have to take action, or else at that point, it's like, what are we really doing?
Can I ask you,
What's up?
when building, you need tools. What tools does a man need to be able to take what you're saying or take therapy or take change seriously? Because I believe that when you don't have those tools, you don't know where to start building and rebuilding. So what tools do you think that a man would need?
That's a great question. It's not even about tools for me per se, right? Because you learn the tools once you get to the point where you start therapy, or when you start your healing journey. I think for a lot of us as men, it's about getting to the point where we're like, you know what? This shit ain't working for me. Right. And I think a lot of us are not there, even when we say we're not, even when we say we're there, we're not there. You know how many DMs I get from men? Bro, if you know how many DMs
I was about to say, ain't you in a relationship?
Yo,
This is a podcast.
Like, where are we going with this?
That was a wild segue.
Nah, listen. Yo, y'all are wild, bro. But what I'm trying to say, right, I get a lot of DMs from men, right? Because a lot of times I say, yo, if you're ready to start therapy, DM me, right? And we'll go through the whole process of getting them therapy resources, getting them connected with the holistic healing platform that we have called Safe Haven, right? Where we offer low-cost therapy, group therapy, all of these different things. But what ends up happening is we'll get all the way to the point where I'm giving you the resource, I'm giving you the link, I'm giving discounts, all these different things.
They pull out.
Boom, gone. I don't hear nothing from them, right?
But why?
So, and the reason why is because they're not ready.
Fear.
A lot of times, so there's there's
99% of society is not ready.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Okay, maybe 80?
No.
Like,
I don't know what
For
the number is.
historically, people do not like therapy. They don't even like the thought of it.
What?
Because we
Who
don't know
doesn't?
we don't know what. You see how your
I
response is.
love therapy. What?
The thought of it.
I
The
love
problem
the
is
thought of it.
the problem is
Always?
No.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
here's the problem, right?
I do. But go
We don't know what therapy is. We grow up.
It sounds like psychoanalyzing. It sounds painful.
People don't
No,
understand
we
that
don't-
therapists and psychologists are not the same fucking people.
Right. Here's the thing, right? We grow up and all we're seeing in society and TV, media, all these different things are we're seeing white psychologists. We're seeing a couch, someone like this, definitely not with all this decoration, probably just a bland ass couch. You're somewhere in some office. You feel like you're in the principal's office about to get expelled from school. So when that's your first thought process when it comes to therapy, of course you're not going to go to fucking therapy.
He raised his voice.
I'm sorry, right? This is where I get passionate.
I'm just waiting for that.
You know what I'm saying? This is where I get passionate, right?
ridiculous.
And so this kind of clip, when you clip it and you
Yeah.
show it to the audience,
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh my God, why are you yelling?"
Why
at
you
us?"
Nah,
yelling
you
at
good.
us?
You good.
Right?
You
Nah,
good.
you're good.
I get it.
Great
right?
message.
So that's the problem, right? We assume that therapy is going to the principal's office and getting expelled, but that's not what it is. I have a black therapist who's
Same.
from my area. She went to the same school as me. She knows the same corner stores. When I tell her, like, yo, I went to the corner store, I saw this. She's like, oh, I was at that corner store the other day.
All right, but
we
how-
don't understand that this is what you can get with a therapist. We
How-
don't see that.
How do you express or communicate that to a person who aligns therapy with something's wrong with me? If I tried to make somebody go to therapy that I'm very close to, and the pushback was that, why do you think I need that? And it's like, yo, everybody does.
Everybody needs it.
But
Hit.
that person would not.
They wouldn't
and
do it.
because it innately to them means something was wrong.
They're
It's,
not-
I think
that's
it's
what-
twofold.
Yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
it's that, one, they think something is wrong with them. And also the other part is, this is how I am. This is just got to accept me. This is who I am. Like, this is my personality. This is who I. There's a lot of people that think that way, that don't want to change.
Right.
They
That's
don't
me right
necessarily
now.
Right.
want to be a better person.
Nigga, I
You know
want to
what I
be a
mean?
better person.
They
Right.
don't, they
But
don't.
I go to therapy, pardon me,
No,
Chris,
go,
very
go,
quickly.
go, yeah.
And they tell me all these things about myself, and it hurt so much to hear. I walked out.
Yeah.
And that's
I
what I
closed
wanted
the phone.
to say.
I was like, boom. I left, and then didn't talk to my girl for the rest of the day because I was like processing, and I'm like, what does this mean? Like, this hurts too much. I don't like this feeling. Like, I
That-
don't-
difficult.
That's the problem. And that goes, for me, that goes back to the male ego. Like, y'all are so afraid of your own emotions. You're so afraid of the fact that you might have inadequacies. And then when somebody points it out to you, y'all either go ape shit or you retreat. Like, and that's where the main problem is. Like, it's fear. Like, I'm so afraid of having to deal with these things that I probably even know about myself, but I don't want to deal with it. I don't want somebody else to point their finger at me and tell me that I need to fix this. I don't like that feeling. I don't want to work with it. And it goes back to the conversation that we've had before about breakups. A woman can get her heart broken 15 times and still try to fall in love for the 16th. A man get his heart broken 2 times and that nigga is hurt for a decade. Like, y'all don't like to deal with your feelings.
Is that
and you're human.
What are we saying?
Then,
is that because it's a male attribute?
No, I think
so
that
what is
I
it?
think that
Because
men,
you're saying that women are this way, monolith. You're saying
No,
women are this way.
this is what I'm-
Men are this way. I'm sorry. I don't mean to
feel
talk
like-
over you. I'm
I
asking.
feel
What does
like
it mean? Where does it
men-
come from?
men, shit, you made me lose my thought.
Thank you.
Fuck you.
Yo, y'all are crazy.
No. I think that what it is shit. You're such an asshole.
You said fear.
I know it's
you-
rooted. I believe that it is rooted in fear, but that's not the point that I was gonna make. When it comes back to me, I'll
All right.
spit it out.
Kizzle.
I was gonna say, so there's different stages for healing. There is acknowledgement, right? That's the first stage, I think, where you acknowledge that maybe there's something that's going on. Maybe I need to do something, right? Then there is accountability, right? Which is like, okay, you know what? I know I need to do something. I'm not the acknowledgement stage anymore where it's like, I think there's something that I need to do. Accountability is like, you know what? I know that this is a trait that I have. And then there's action, right? And I think where we get lost, where we lose a lot of people is at the accountability to action step, right? Which is the biggest jump that you have to make to then take yourself to start your healing journey. A lot of people get to the accountability stage and like, you know what? Yeah, I got some problems with masculinity. Yeah, I got some problems with relationships. Yeah, I got some problems with this. But I don't really know if I'm ready to go into therapy and talk about this because it makes me feel a little bit too uncomfortable and I don't really want to process that and all that kind of stuff. So now you're in the limbo stage between accountability and action. And what I was going to tell y'all is like, yo, you said, you use a very important word. You said I tried to make someone go to therapy. You can't make anyone go to therapy. I don't make anybody on the page go to therapy. Anytime someone stops at the point where I offer therapy resources, I don't follow up. And the reason why I don't follow up is because I know what it was for me when I was ready to go to therapy. You couldn't stop me from finding a therapist because I was going to find it. You get what I'm saying? So if you're at the action stage, you are going to find the resource, whether you find it from me, somebody else, whatever the case may be. So whenever somebody stops, they don't join Safe Haven, they don't join our holistic healing platform, they don't follow up. I don't follow up unless they told me that they want me to follow up. Unless I ask and they're like, yeah, please follow up with me on this date. That's the only time I'm going to follow up. I'm never going to re-market to you or re-advertise to you, whatever the case may be. I'm going to let you come in when you're ready and when you're at the action step, because a lot of times people think they're at that step. And then when we get in and we have DMs, they're really just at the accountability step. And I had to know when to just let it go because you're going to drive yourself crazy. I literally had conversations with my mom and my dad, right? Where I saw things happen in a relationship and I'm like, yeah, motherfuckers need couples therapy. Like, for real. Like, my dad don't want to talk about certain things. My mom is doing certain things that's bothering him. He'll sit there and talk to me for an hour about it. I'm just like, yo, bro, what's up? You're not talking to sis about this? And he's like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like he feels like he can't say it, right? And I'm like, yo, just go to couples therapy, bro. Like, you know? And he's like, nah, we don't need no therapy, right? I'm like, all right. You know what I'm saying? I've done my job. I've done my job. Then I had the conversation with my mom. Yo, you think therapy works? No, I don't need to go to therapy. Those people have these things that they think about, and there's just certain things that just don't work for me, and this is how I am as an individual. So for me, once you say that, once you hit me with that big rebuttal, this don't work for me, all right, cool. You're not at that step, and I have to make a decision from there whether I want to accept you for who you are, or if I want to keep on pushing at the wall. And you're going to keep on pushing. Maybe that wall comes down. Maybe it doesn't. You get what I'm saying? I think that's where we drive ourselves nuts, and we have a lot of frustration around getting people to heal and getting people to change because you really can't force it. And I just want to end with this. Like, I have a lot of women that DM me as well about men in their lives, right? And they're like, yo, I want to get this man to do this. How do I get my man to express himself? And I'm always like, bro, you can't Like, you can't get, like, it's literally a question I get all the time. That's the reason why I want to spend some time on it. You cannot get anybody to do anything they don't want to do. You can't. I can't make you go to therapy, bro. All I can tell you is what therapy has done for me. If you feel like it's not going to work for you, all right, so be it. I'm not going to drive myself crazy. I'm not going to drive myself crazy trying to get you to change, because I understand that you have to get to that point. And we do it with everything else, man. I see so much content on social media about, yo, mom, I want to get this. I want to do this for myself. I want to do that. Da, 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 da. We know how to be motivated when the time comes for something that we're interested in.
So how do we redesign people's image of therapy to make it a little more favorable?
What I'm doing right now, I just talk about it openly, and I let people know what therapy is and what it isn't, right? Because again, when we go back to that image about what we think therapy is, we think we're in the principal's office and we're just getting yelled at, right? A lot of people don't understand that therapy is really at its base, right? If we really dumb it all the way down, it's just a conversation, bro.
Yep.
And you don't have to talk about anything you don't want to talk about.
Right.
You're just having a conversation. When you're ready to get to it, you're ready to get to it. You may spend a lot more money that way, but at the end of the day, that's all it is. It's really just a conversation. If you feel uncomfortable about talking about a certain thing, no therapist is going to force you to talk about it unless you're potentially going to harm yourself. If you have a conversation with your therapist and you're like, you know what? I don't really think I want to go there today. They're going to be like, all right, cool. They're going to mark it down. And maybe in the next week or the week after, they're going to have a conversation with you about it again to see if you're ready to open up about it. But they're not going to push you on your boundary because they understand that you may not be at that action step for that specific thing, right? And so we have to understand that when it comes to therapy, and specifically Black therapy, it is dope. It's great. I look forward to my therapy sessions. I've never actually even met my therapist in person. I've only done virtual therapy for 2 years, and it's been the most amazing thing I've ever done in my life. And it's the best investment. I always tell people the best investment that I've ever made in myself, because it has literally changed who I am. Literally changed who I am. When we talk about all these this fragile ego and all these different things about masculinity and how we perceive ourselves and how other people perceive us, I don't give a fuck. I really don't care unless it's about certain things. You know, there's certain things like we just talked about the pegging. Like I'm like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about that. But other things like, bro, I really don't give a damn, right? Because I'm comfortable with who I am, and I wish more Black men will understand that we are living lives where we don't even feel comfortable in our skin because we're listening to everything that people say about us. And therapy is that solution. If you find a dope therapist, that will help you to get to the point where you really don't give a fuck. As much as you try to perceive like you don't give a fuck, make it seem like you don't give a fuck, you really do kind of care, right? And I think a lot of us don't understand that therapy will help you to get to that point. I know you're boiling right now. I've talked for a while.
I just don't like how intelligent you are. I want him out my house. This nigga's incredibly intelligent.
You're sick. You know that you're a problem, right?
I'm ready to get into
the fuck shit.
Yeah.
All right.
We have we're gonna enter into part 2 of this episode, but I want you to have your info in part 1. Okay. So tell us where to find you.
You want the full spiel?
Yo, just give me everything right now because we are in part 1 with this.
Solid. So yeah, y'all can find me on Instagram, Express Yourself Black Man. You can find me on TikTok, Express Yourself Black Man. YouTube, Express Yourself Black Man. The website is www.expressyourselfblackman.com. What I talked about with the therapy resources, we have a holistic healing platform. It's called a Black Man Safe Haven. Basically, what we do there is we take Black men from dealing with whatever situation they're dealing with, maybe depression, anxiety, financial issues, whatever you can possibly think of, and we try and get you to a better place, right? And so we offer low-cost therapy. Right now, it's $50 a session, but that's going to be going up to $75 a session. And then we also offer group therapy, right? So we have group therapists come in. All of our therapists are Black. Most of them are men. And we try to pair the people inside of our community with therapists, right? So anybody that's interested in therapy or knows a Black man and you think that the platform will be good for them, tell them to send a DM. We will talk through how we can get them into therapy, and we can also talk through how we can get them help for other things that they may be dealing with. So that's Safe Haven. you can send a DM. It's expressyourselfblackman.com/safe-haven. And that's our holistic healing platform. But the social media is Express Yourself Black Man on all social media
That's
outlets.
dope. I just want to say, like, $75 a session is very affordable. It's not the going rate out there.
Yeah,
you
it's
know what I
definitely
mean?
not the
So
going
I
rate.
think that's very good that y'all do that. Y'all accept insurance at all?
We do accept insurance. It just depends. It's not always guaranteed that you're gonna get a therapist that accepts your insurance. Because a lot of therapists, what they don't tell you is that a lot of therapists don't want to fuck with insurance because insurance companies are just too much to go through.
It is.
It's too many loopholes. A lot of therapists aren't even getting paid from insurance companies and stuff on time. So a lot of therapists would rather take money up front than to actually have to go through insurance. So we're trying to find a route in which we can make therapy affordable, but also get the therapist paid. And so we kind of settle on 75 right now because 50 was just a little bit too steep for them. So,
I just paid $250 for a session.
Whoa. You in couples?
No, nah.
Not me and my man. No.
$250?
No, I'm delving into hypnotherapy right now.
Oh, okay. You in some.
Why you trying to hypnotize yourself into
driving?
Driving?
Yeah, I have like a severe anxiety against driving. Like I just
You been in an accident?
I've been in a few.
Okay.
Nothing like detrimentally damaging, but like I drove to the supermarket the other day for the first time I've actually driven a car in 3-4 years, and I was like, I got out the car and I was just like shaking.
That's you know what they call that? Exposure.
Exposure therapy. So I'm in a mix of exposure therapy and hypnotherapy. So within the first session, spoke to my new therapist and we delved into exposure therapy. Every day I'm supposed to do something different in a car, drive it around a block, whatever. And then I'm gonna go in for hypnotherapy to see if she could just take that shit out of my brain altogether.
Listen, I think I might need hypnotherapy.
Hypnotherapy is, hypnotherapy is different. And listen, on this platform for years, the way that I tried to push therapy while I was in it, I did therapy every Friday.
I'm about to say every day. Damn.
Every Friday between 7 and 8 o'clock for 3 years straight.
Okay.
Fire. My therapist is the shit.
You have a
love her.
black therapist?
Of course, I have a black everything.
Ooh, I like that.
I don't be fucking with them other niggas.
All right. Jeez.
What I do? What I did?
We're gonna take 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. I want to pour a glass of wine. Then we're gonna get into this week in these niggas, this week in these bitches. Shame on you, cap or no cap. And then a few other things.
I have these bitches.
And a listener letter. Child.
Kizzy gonna answer that one.
The suicidal one?
Yeah.
How do we?
I heard y'all overheard y'all.
This is the break.
We'll be back in a second.
Oh, okay. No.
What you about to do?
No, I was just saying I may or may not need to leave.
This is why Tahoe be getting jumped.
What?
Because you be leaving him.
No,
right
cool.
at this point.
I knew that the time was 3 hours from when we start, so I didn't think that we'd approach it. But I'm like, we're about to do part 2, so I'm just giving a heads up.
Part 2.
I might be trying to catch a flight, but I don't know yet.
Of course you are. Where are we going now?
To London.
Oh, to London.
There's an 8 p.m. flight.
Why don't you tonight?
Yeah.
At 8 p.m. Nigga, it's 8 o'clock.
Not 8 p.m. 11 p.m. Sorry.
7.
Who are you?
So it's not even me this time. This is wifey's fault. The New Orleans Saints are playing. She's from New Orleans, and New Orleans folks are super fanatical about their football team, and they travel with the team. So it's a thing. Like a lot of New Orleans folks are out in London. There's all these events and stuff. And
you got looped into that?
Yeah, I did get looped into it. So, but she's indecisive as hell. So my bag is packed. I'm like, all right, well, if we're going, just text me and bring the bag and come pick me up.
Can you imagine the type of life this nigga lives? This nigga just pick up and take a flight to London at 11 o'clock tonight. Like, who are you?
In cocktail socks.
Child, I don't even know.
He's chilling.
I would like for you to sometimes at least let niggas know ahead of time if you're going to the UK so I can get a bag. But no, you don't say shit. You don't even tell us.
He figures out.
Oh no, she don't work there no more.
No, but their bags are cheaper in Europe than
facts.
they are in America.
Facts is a crazy discount right now.
And I'm sick of you being so disrespectful because I need a new Louis bag. But no, you go to Europe every other month and you don't say shit till you come back.
He can go to Europe tomorrow. He hops flights like it's nothing.
I know, but what I'm saying is why you don't tell niggas in advance. advance.
It's what time? It's 7:30.
That's not enough advance.
She needs
gotta
to
get
collect
her
her
bread.
checks.
She gotta get her
Nigga,
bread
what?
together.
Yo, he doesn't, cause
Like
he's
his
rich.
brain does not
No,
even
his brain.
compute.
Not rich.
He has money.
Obviously. So let me
Broke?
He's like,
Nah,
I
that's
might
a
go to
lie.
London.
That's
I don't
a
have a
lie.
ticket.
I might go to
nobody-
London
nobody-
at 11 o'clock tonight.
tonight.
None of
Tonight.
none of the broke people I know taking a random flight.
I said, let me know in
I
advance.
might.
Nigga said, I just
Yeah,
told
like,
you.
what?
Because we want to follow the team.
Because I could just send you.
Like,
I
that's
could
not a
just,
priority.
like, I could just send you $1,000 right now for a bag. Like, who do I look like? I'm a teacher. Teachers are poor. Did you know that? Don't let the kicks fool you.
I
I'm
wanted
broke.
to ask in this week in these bitches now, Trav and I'm not the NSGs. I can't.
No
do
shame
it.
gang. Gang.
Have come up with
How you got a problem with no shame gang, but you don't have a problem with Nut Navy?
Nut Navy just fire. First of all, Navy.
not
I'm
fire.
Rihanna.
Nut Navy is fire.
It's fire.
Y'all are
Nut
disgusting.
Navy.
Is that for the heart or something?
Nah,
Yes.
yes.
I think that makes sense.
But Nut Navy?
Yeah.
Nut.
It's water.
Why you said Navy though? That's like you mean like
Because
like
all the
Army
nut
type
makes
thing?
so much water, you got to put a boat on it?
Wow. I didn't need that visual.
That's what I think about when they say nut. I think of like,
I
let me
think
shut
of
up.
Rihanna Navy. Like that's the.
I'm the Navy. See?
I think of
Rihanna
Mad
follows
Cum
me.
with a boat
So
on
the
it.
Nut Navy. A
See?
Rihanna condom
That's why I'm
with
so
a boat
disgusting.
on it is wild. All right. I saw this. Now, Trav and the production unit have come up with all of these different things, and we skipped a lot of it because we wound up talking about the same shit that we've been talking about for 2 weeks. I know the listeners are like, okay, Tahoe, you don't like women. Get over it. Let's go. Let's talk about something else. Bung, bagung, bagung, bung, bung, bung. I want to read y'all an article that's pretty disturbing. And it goes into, to me, it's this week in these niggas. Mm-hmm. But it's not a nigga. It's a white man.
Oh, come on.
And a bunch of others.
For us, by us, Tahoe.
Kidnapping
Hold the line.
suspect and daughter killed in shootout with law enforcement.
Huh?
A homicide suspect and his abducted 15-year-old daughter was shot and killed by law enforcement during a pursuit and gunfight along the highway. The girl was apparently wearing tactical gear when she ran toward deputies and was fatally shot. When she ran toward deputies and was fatally shot, she was transferred to the hospital, blah, blah, blah. They were chasing a vehicle. He had already killed his estranged wife, who was 45, and kidnapped their daughter during a domestic dispute. They were in the process of getting a divorce. The sheriffs located the vehicle, gave chase. At what point the suspect opened fire on officers from his rear window. During the chase, numerous patrol vehicles were shot, and one even became disabled. At some point during the ordeal, the deputy was hit in the face with shrapnel. The pursuit continued, went off-road, firefight ensued. During the shootout, the passenger exited the truck while wearing tactical gear, ran toward the deputies, and quote-unquote, during the gunfire, the passenger went down.
They shot.
So the kid was trying to escape and they shot her.
But she was wearing tactical gear.
Oh.
So that's my point.
Did she have a gun?
No, they didn't find a gun.
So, don't we just
Where's this
love
at?
the police?
This is Florida?
I know
Texas, I believe.
Oh, Texas or Florida?
Oh, that makes sense. Texas.
Oh, California. It's California. San Bernardino.
California.
California.
Damn.
San Bernardino,
Wow,
California.
that's different.
What do we think about this? Like, are we mad at the police for shooting the person, the child? Yeah. We are.
I think we always mad at the police.
Good point.
It's a gunfight.
So-
They're literally
It's a
having a
gunfight, yeah.
gunfight. They've already shot. The dude is shot at several police. And I'm not saying who's right or wrong here. I don't. I'm just giving the facts. He shot at several police cars. An officer was already shot. He doesn't know a shrapnel. He knows he's bleeding. He thinks he's shot in the face. And they stop. They've been chasing him for a minute. They're in a field somewhere. They get into a gunfight. Somebody exits and starts running towards them. They shoot the person.
So I share Kizzle's sentiments. It's always fuck the police. I don't know if that's what you said.
It's not what I said, but I mean, you said it in your way. I
You
get
gonna
it.
put that on him?
Right.
He said it's always the police fault.
Okay.
Right.
Hold on,
What he
listen.
said. But
Wow.
But however, I do want to say that in this situation, I can understand where we might want to be like, okay, in a gunfight, somebody gets out you don't know who's who. You don't know who's who if somebody's charging at you. You know what I mean? Obviously, they fucked up. And obviously, this is another case of the police getting it wrong. But in a gunfight, somebody jumps out
runs towards you.
Run towards you. You don't know if it's aggressive or it's help me. You know what I mean?
Yes and no. I feel like, as I've said before, police officers should be held to a different standard, and there's certain mistakes that they should not be allowed to make.
Correct.
Because only in the police are they allowed to make all of these different types of egregious mistakes, and yet they still have a job. If you are a doctor and you kill somebody by mistake or on purpose, you have people to answer to.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just get to go back to work the next day. Nobody just gets to go back to work the next day except for cops. It gets very gangy sometimes with them. Like, oh, you shot at me? I'm about to empty the whole clip on them. Like, these niggas is the Bloods and Crips at this point. Like, I understand the sentiment, but I still don't understand why these heavily trained people don't shoot to disarm. It's always seemingly shoot to kill. And that's the part that I don't understand. It's 1,000 of y'all. It's a car, one car that you are all chasing. Y'all are getting y'all asses whooped. So now, the one person in that vehicle that needed your help, because your job is to help.
Nuts.
The one person that needed your help, the one person that needed you to protect them, you murdered.
Yeah.
And there's never any accountability. It's like, oh, well, my life was in danger.
Yep.
Okay, so then choose a different career. I know me. I don't want my life to be in danger. Therefore, I'm not a cop. Like, I don't understand, and I'm never going to be in a position of making excuses for people that are not effectively doing their job.
And I
You
agree
did not
with
have
you.
a fucking it wasn't a tank coming at you.
But hold on. The motherfucker then killed his wife,
Yeah.
took the kid, and is armed enough to have several gunfights with the police. You're telling me this person gets out in tactical gear. You are across, you're shooting, this person's shooting, you don't know if this person has a bomb. You don't know what the fuck.
You
A
don't.
mistake can't be made?
A mistake can be made, but that's why you shoot to disarm. You don't shoot to kill. And that's the
And
difference.
fucking...
So, okay,
Aim for the legs, nigga.
So a couple things. So I have some family members that are like law enforcement and stuff, right?
Same.
And so first of all, what they tell me is that they never shoot to disarm. One, they're always gonna shoot to
Put
stop
down the threat.
right?
Stop down the
But
threat.
That's a key word, threat. Threat is a key word. I think officers need better training to identify what a threat actually is, even when you're in a gunfight, right? And I think that's why we see, well, I see this normally in movies, right? I've never actually seen this in
the
like real
house,
training situations
where
where
they-
they go in a house and
Yeah.
then like the person's
It's a
there,
kid.
but there's also a thief right behind them, and they're like, okay, I'm not gonna shoot the person, I'm gonna shoot the, you get what I'm saying, right? So I think for
That's
us,
exactly what I
we
was
have
thinking.
to identify, well, not us, but officers have to be able to identify what is an actual threat. And so the people that I know in my family that have gone through training have always told me that they aren't given the go to shoot unless the person has a gun or is putting something up, right? And is actually showing that they have something. So for me, when I hear about situations where somebody's charging at an officer and they don't actually have a gun, but they may be a threat, you don't know what they have. For me personally, I'm always like, well, they're not a threat. They didn't pull anything out. If they're charging at you, grab them, arrest them, check them, and pull out whatever item or gun that they may have, whatever weapon they may have. That's how I see it. I also understand that these things are split-second decisions. But again, I'm not an officer, so I don't got to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't got to deal with that.
I want to know how many times the kid was shot.
That's what
That
I would
too.
like to know.
That too I would
because
like
I'm
to
pretty
know,
sure
yeah.
it wasn't just once. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like when it comes to police officers, human error is not a thing. There is no accountability. They have like this crazy amount of autonomy. It's like they're the judge and the executioner at the same time, and that shit is erratic behavior. And this is the reason why the state of the country is the way that it is now when it comes to police matters and the general public. You pour all of this money into police officers into like these different stations and precincts, but you don't pour the same amount of money into training, into being able to identify the difference between a criminal and somebody that is mentally ill, giving them different tactics in different ways that you can still make it home and that you're not murdering people's children. Like,
Yeah.
I
think
you know,
you hit it.
I don't like talking about cops. Like,
I think you
done with
hit
them.
it. I will tell you this. We can't take human out of police, though. Like, I agree with everything you said in a way. Some things, because if I know this motherfucker done killed this person, killed his wife, took the kid, shot at a bunch of my officers, he shot my man in the face. If you shoot my man in the face, there's very little, well, let me check out in the next 10 minutes.
That's not acceptable, right? Because for me and my career, we have to go through so many meticulous trainings over and over and over again. I don't get the benefit of the doubt if somebody does something to me or harms me in a way or another and I react like a human. Because at the end of the day, as my job pertains, I still have...
We are human.
We are, but cops do not...
So they're not human.
They are, but they're not treated as though they're human. They're not treated as though that they have error. They're not treated as though that they have like... If I fuck up at my job 5 times, I don't have a job. A cop could fuck up at his job 30 times and still have a job. That's unacceptable. Human error matters. So they should be able to reap the consequences of the fact that you were sent on a mission. This man murdered his wife. He kidnapped his child. The child got out to try to run to you for safety. Of course the child has on tactical gear because that man probably just wanted his child. He knew that he had guns in the car. He doesn't want his child to get injured in the shit that he's doing. So she suited up. You gotta, it's like the sense is not there and the discernment is not there. And you cannot shoot to kill all the time.
Yeah, that's wild. Very wild. We have another submission. And this week in these niggas, I didn't look at it, so let's see what Trav and them have.
I'm afraid.
Prepared for us. I can't. It won't play. It can't play.
Jesus.
Like, I understand this is a house in this league, but I don't think this is fair.
I know it's not really all his fault. Can we stay here? Mommy, can we just y'all can stay, but he can't stay. Why not?
Well, I don't understand. Like, this is we a family. Like, I understand. Like, this is your house, but like, I'm not leaving my family. So what you expect me to do?
I don't know what you gonna do, but you just can't stay here. Her and the kids can stay as long as they like. But Sean is a part of the family, so he gotta. So what he gotta stay at a hotel? Like what? If you're trying to follow him, I suppose so.
No, I don't think
Are you recording this? Don't record this.
No, man, because that's bogus. That's bogus. Like, I ain't finna cuss in just your house. I want to get loud. I ain't about to do that, but I literally can't stay here. Like, I have nowhere to go. We all got evicted. Like, I know you trying to say I'm the man and I was supposed to take responsibility, but life happens. Like, I don't understand why I can't stay here, Ms. Lee.
Stop.
I don't understand why I can't stay here.
Well, maybe just for like a week. Just a week, maybe. And then...
I mean, she just said y'all can stay as long as y'all need to, but I gotta leave.
That's why I'm trying to ask her if you can stay for a week. Just at least a week. So that you don't have to be out on the street by yourself.
So you gonna stay here even though I can't stay here? That's what I'm asking you. You still need to stay here and knowing I can't stay here?
Where else is we gonna go?
That's not the point though. Like, we supposed to be together on this. You finna let me sleep outside on the curb.
I didn't say you can sleep, but I'm trying to get you to be able to stay here. You don't want to stay here or not?
I don't want to be somewhere where I'm not welcome. She just said I can't stay here.
You know, she might change her mind.
So I can't stay here.
Just for a week. Come on.
I can't stay here, Ms. Lee.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Why?
All right, turn this shit off.
Y'all made no effort or...
I can't deal with this shit too much. When y'all talk about me not liking women, I don't like niggas way more than I don't like women. Yeah. Like, this nigga now is pressuring.
Disgusted by this. I was so disgusted by this.
And he sounds like a big nigga. So shout out to grandma. So this is a situation where grandma, the man and his family has been kicked out, evicted. Mm-hmm. They go to her mother's house, and her mother is saying, "You can't stay here. My daughter and the children can stay here. You cannot." Now, all of these clips hopefully will be uploaded to the Patreon. You guys can go look at it yourself. This sounds like a big nigga. And the grandmother stands up for her home. She's like, no. But what do y'all think about this? But I just don't like the you tell me that. Thank you, Miss Man. You can stay here. Y'all stay. I'll figure something out. Right. I'm going right to Trum's crib. Go ahead.
Right.
You got a crib to go to though. He may not have a crib to go to. But I'll just
my first thought is I'm wondering what the context is of why grandma don't like this nigga.
She did
right?
exactly.
There's something. There's some history there probably, right?
Thank you.
And it could be very justifiable. Justifiable or not, it's her crib. Mm-hmm. And who are you to stand there and debate with somebody about why they won't let you stay in their crib? You know what I mean?
Right.
I understand he's like, so you're
right.
going to split me up from my family? But listen, you got evicted. That's not my fault. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm able to help you out, but it has to be on my terms. You got to respect grandma. And how you over there? How could you argue with somebody, debate with somebody about trying to stay?
And he has the camera.
Yeah, and why
he
you
pulls out
me?
the camera.
Yeah,
because he thinks that there's something wrong with the situation. There's something wrong with her setting that boundary. He actually thinks he's in the right.
He absolutely
and that's entitlement.
Disgusting.
It's entitlement.
I'm so disgusted by that. First of all, don't you ever in your black ass life show up at my doorstep with suitcases. You better talk to me first. Like, you ain't even ask. Y'all niggas just came in bombarded and was just like, yo, can we stay here?
Don't you ever record my mother trying to make a point?
But she don't care. Because old girl, she don't care. She ain't put her foot down for that. You recording right now, really? Let me tell you something. Yeah.
Oh, I ain't hear that part.
Yeah. But you ain't put your foot like, yo, don't record my mother. I'm trying to get us a place to stay and you doing bitch shit. Right. Like, what's up with you? But the flip side of that, it goes back to entitlement. Like, men, no, I'm not going to say men. This man is very entitled. And you can tell he's one of those type of men that do not know how to take. You can't ask me a yes or no question and then get mad when my answer is no. And then try to convince me to change my answer to yes to fit
Let me devil's advocate this.
Go. You love to do it.
I take care of this family. All right, we had a situation. I lost my job. See, I knew you was going there. Mm-hmm. But people lose their job all the time. It happens. Melly's about to lose her. No, I'm just playing.
Melly.
Melly's like, please. Please.
I'll quit.
Charge him for that.
People lose their job all the time. There's a recession. There's a national recession, maybe international.
It's global, yeah.
It's literally global. People lose their job all the time. He don't sound like a coder. He don't sound like he has like mad talent. He sounds like he works on an assembly line. What?
He don't sound like a coder is wild.
He sounds like he works on an assembly line. What happened?
Toro, are you dying?
Toro, you good? Did he fall?
He almost fell out the chair. Yes, he did. And
Melly was leaning because you almost died. The chair broke.
Because you was leaning on. Yeah, bro.
He said, yo,
Toro's.
All right. Are you good?
He said, go back to your show.
Stop worrying about me. He said, go back.
I love my team.
Yo, what is happening?
But I take care of this family most times. Right now, I'm having a hard time. We live in Alabama or somewhere where there isn't like a friend group. Like, yo, friends live hours away here. Like, this is my family. You're just going to tell me to go?
That shit ain't happen overnight. When you get evicted, that shit.
Pride. I'm not going to tell grandma that pride.
And you know what? You know the.
If I'm getting evicted, it's because I can't pay the bills.
I have one question. He said, you want to split up this family.
She probably don't think.
Are they married?
How? You said you're going to split up the family.
That's my question. My question is, are they married?
I don't know.
I'm just curious.
What does that have to do with anything?
It matters to me.
Here's my thing, right? Like, I personally think, like what you said about them not having a good relationship. I think that's true. But I think you have to be able to identify that and not try and just insert yourself where you obviously know that there is a issue. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? You can't force her now in this moment to then forgive you for whatever the case or situation is. You have to be able to mend that relationship. That goes back to conflict resolution. What did we talk about earlier with men a lot of times, right? We brute. Right. And you can see it right in that video where it's like he's trying to force the issue, right? He's trying to force them to get to a point where they accept him to come into the house. And there's no conflict resolution. Yeah.
I think another strategy that he failed to implement was fall back and let the lady talk. Let your lady talk to her mom. Step outside, be like, yo.
Yes.
Yeah, how about, because she's clearly calm and she can maybe convince her mom. But you can't convince her mom.
Right.
So you're not doing this situation any justice. She might be able to be like, look, Ma, you know, it's my man, you know, he's a good father. We fell on a hard time. She could convince her, but he's not willing to fall back and win.
On top of that, right, like you have to be able to really think through situations, right? Let's say you decide to go through with your shorty living at the house and you have to live somewhere else, right? Regardless of where you have to live, let's assume that he has somewhere to go. When you go and visit your shorty, what you think is going to happen?
Right.
You're going to have to see her. What do you think is going to happen? At some point in time, it's just not going to make sense for y'all to do it the way that y'all are doing it. And then you can ease your way in that way, right? But again, when we talk about these situations, when it comes to conflict resolution, a lot of times with men, it's brute force. There is no finesse. There is no way for you to finesse and deal with situations and have another strategy outside of just trying to force your way in, right? Because I've had situations, right, with my girl where me and her moms wasn't like, that shit just was not. It's because I was younger and I just didn't, you know what I'm saying? I just didn't know how to deal with meeting the parents of your spouse, right? And so as I got older, I realized there was an issue, right? And I always knew there was an issue when we was younger, but I'm like 17, 16. I can't pull parents to the side and have a conversation. You ain't going to give a fuck about what I got to say. You know what I'm saying? Especially black parents, right? But as we get older, I know this is a girl I want to marry. I'm like, you know what? Let me sit down with her parents, right? And I never had a problem with the dad like that. But I also understood that if I'm going to have a conversation with the mom, the dad has to be there, right? And the rest of the family also has to be there. People that I know that I mess with in the family have to be there so that I can have someone that's potentially an ally, right? And you have to be able to deal with conflict resolution. You have to be able to have skills to deal with those things. I can't force her to like me, but I can have a conversation where we can air it out and we can you can then tell me what the problem is and then we can talk. And if that doesn't work, then okay, then I know I tried. But a lot of times we don't even do that. I guarantee, I would be willing to bet all my money that he has never had a sit-down conversation with her as to why she does not like him.
Actually, there's more.
Oh, come on.
Is there more?
Trav says it's lengthy, but you get the gist in the first minute. But at the end, Grandma says this isn't the first time this has happened.
She fed the fuck up.
I don't know if that actually goes towards his character. A lot of times, bro, it'd be hard when you don't have skills, when you don't have education.
Very.
Time be bouncing around. Sometimes you be bouncing around. Like you get fired from here, they laying off. You trying to figure something else out. You over here doing landscaping. Sorry. You know, they whatever. Because I was about to go somewhere, and I look at myself in these clips. I'm like, what the fuck did this guy be talking about? Sometimes I be looking at myself talk like, what the fuck? Get to the point. But is Grandma judging him for having issues with finance?
I don't think that she's judging him, but I think that generation of people, she's not going to continue to be your fail-safe. And she shouldn't have to, right? Because if I helped you before, or I've been through this road with you before, and you know in the back of your head you could always come to me, you know that I'm always going to open my doors. Like, how do you do what you got to do for your family? I feel like, and I can just use my family as an example, a lot of the men in my family solely rely on women for their survival, and it disgusts me. And it goes from when my grandmother was alive all the way down to me. Like,
I know a lot of men like that.
and it's very disgusting to me, because my thing is, if you didn't have a woman to save you, if it wasn't your girlfriend, if it wasn't your mother, if it wasn't your sister, if it wasn't your niece, how would you be able to figure this out yourself? One of the most important things my therapist taught me was about boundaries, because for a long time, especially for my family, I didn't have any. So within those boundaries, she said that grown people, they know how to figure out how to get themselves out of a situation. Always. 100% of the time.
Do you think that men have, sorry for cutting you off,
Yeah.
but do you think that men have the same amount of, the world has the same amount of compassion for men that it has for women?
Hell no.
No, absolutely
So
not.
when,
It's not
like,
about,
you-
but it's not
she-
about compassion. It's about being a complete adult. It's about the fact that, yes, in adulthood, you're going to face different types of adversities, 100%. And that's fine. But you cannot always, your first recourse is, let me go back to my mama's house.
Women
You
do
got to
that
figure
often.
something else. All right. But that's
As a matter
but-
of fact, the mother in this situation is saying, yes, she can come, you cannot.
Right. I think grandma is okay with being a failsafe for her and her grandkids, but not for him, because she doesn't respect him, and she
Maybe.
probably doesn't think that she wants her granddaughter to remain with him.
Facts.
She's not supporting the relationship.
Yes. And it's
Facts.
probably a multitude of reasons why. But I'm, like I said, I could only just speak for myself and my family. If it wasn't for the women and the men in my family's lives, how, not that they can't survive, but I feel like the women make it easier for them to survive.
Shouldn't that
And
be, that's what you said is the key.
not all
Men
the
are
time.
always making women's lives, as far like we always supporting, we always protecting and providing. That was our job, right? But when we cannot rely on our women.
You can, but you cannot always rely. Sometimes you gotta stand on your own 2 feet and
Is it
figure
always
it out.
if I lived there? He actually had another crib, and this happened before, which means there were other times when things didn't work out. But I'm trying.
Yeah.
So I'm always going back to
so
things.
go figure it out. I got your family. I got your family for you. You go figure it out. Come back. Come
How
get
do I
your
do that?
family.
Yeah. Yeah. That nigga be crispy. Yeah. Hey. I'm shameless, so shameless. With my dogs on the block, it was dangerous. Take a girl out to eat and she's paying. I'm shameless, so shameless. I'ma go hit Tahoe up. Come bring the Tahoe truck, body bags on body bags. Come pick this garbage up. DJ mixing in the booth, he leave him traumatized up. I ain't got no time to waste. Let's get these commas up. I'm sitting in class, I can't even focus. Looking at teach, hoping that she don't notice. Titty sit right, got ass be poking. Sitting in front, cause I gotta be the closest. I'm just waiting for the bell, let everybody leave. I passed with an A, but left her with a D.